25 drivers, 16 nationalities, 3 champions, 1 champion. Road to Indy TV.
On behalf of Cooper Tires, Anderson Promotions, and Elite Engines, drivers, start your engines.
And there you go, folks, to call to start engines. Braden Eves and Darren Keene in the front row, firing things up here for Cape Motorsports. 21 drivers ready to go. We'll send it back upstairs to Greg Rakestraw.
Rob, thank you very much. Rob will hustle his way back to our PA location, second floor of the famous pagoda, so he can provide his knowledge and insight as the voice of the road to Indy. He'll join us for this race. Again, these drivers have already completed 2 qualification sessions today. The starting grid for this race determined by the earliest qualification this morning. The secondary qualifications then earlier today will be for tomorrow's second race for these drivers. This is events 3 and 4 on the year for the USF 2000 series. These drivers have not turned laps in anger, if you will, since St. Petersburg. Braden Eves won both races in St. Petersburg. And this is his second of 3 starts from the pole so far on the year. Again, this race will be contested over 15 laps. It will take 35 minutes will be the time limit that we will have on this event. Coming up in less than an hour, you'll see the Indy Pro 2000 race. And then it will be qualifying time for the cars and stars of the NTT IndyCar Series. That takes place at 4:35. And we have a very special honorary starter for this race, getting to wave the green flag. It will be the all-time leader in points scored in the National Football League and entering his 14th year with the Indianapolis Colts. Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Vinatieri. Of course, Adam, owner of 2 of these cars that you'll be seeing today, Jack William Miller and Eduardo Barrichello. Miller Vinatieri Racing. So he is more than just an honorary starter of this race. He is, Rob Howden, he's financially invested in this race taking place today.
He's all in, right? He's a team owner and having a great weekend. That team as well. Jack Miller qualifying 9th for this first race. Barrichello a little further down in 15th. I believe 7th and 8th for race number 2. So this team brand new and doing a tremendous job dialing things in. But as these drivers now get set to go, it's the Cape Motorsports competitors first and second. Braden Eves on the inside, Darren Keene on the outside. The opening corner always chaotic here with the young drivers of USF 2000. We'll hope they're clean and green through that corner, and we get to go racing for the entire run of 15 lap or 35 minutes. Drivers set to go. And again, it goes to the hands of Braden Eves. He is the pole sitter, quickest in both qualifying sessions. He'll start alongside his teammate, Adam Vinatieri, ready to get that green flag flying. And there we go, we're underway. Green, green, green. Great start from the inside from the number 22, Hunter McElroy. He'll go to P2. And Darren Keene slots into 3rd as Braden Eves, a strong start as they work their way down here into turn number 1. They'll fan 3, 4, make it 5 wide coming into the corner. They're going to have to give each other room. Couple drivers going off, one around. That's one of the Cape cars that is looped around. One of the drivers who started on the front row has gone around. Is that Darren Keene potentially? Keene's going to come back through here. Not sure if there's any damage to the car, but I believe one of the Cape cars, I think that's Darren Keene. This kid just cannot buy a break. Always bad luck for Darren Keene. Hopefully we'll get a replay of what happened going down into turn number 1, but apparently it looks to be contact from behind, Greg.
All in all, Rob, there were 5 cars that had to kind of go the extra mile, had to go the back door to get through turn number 1. 2 cars made contact and had to kind of refire and get spun back around, and again, because of so many cars on the track, 21 cars in this race, you're going to see a little more congestion in traffic these opening couple of laps.
Another driver going off as they went through the 7, 8, 9S's. I believe that was Alex Barron in the Legacy Autosport machine. He was 9th coming across the line, started in the 10th position. But indeed, the 2 leaders out and running here right now, Braden Eves and Hunter McElroy. I'm telling you, over the last couple of years, if there has been some bad luck, it has found Darren Keene. I cannot believe he got collected again. Someone getting into the back of him. I hope we get to see a chance to see a replay, but that's not potentially going to happen. Here we have some battles further back again. Drivers settling in. Let's give you the top 10. First time by. Braden Eves with the lead. Hunter McElroy goes to 2nd. Manuel Suleiman up to 3rd spot. Jack Miller in 4th. Cameron Shields, a good jump up to 5th. Eduardo Barrichello in 6th. Colin Kaminsky 7th. Christian Rasmussen in 8th. Anthony Famularo 9th. And a good start for Dakota Dickerson. He started 16th. He ends up in 10th. Manuel Cabrera, I believe the driver getting into it with Darren Keene. Cabrera started right behind him. Both of those drivers falling to the tail of the field. And Greg, that's just over-anxious, impatience, trying to push too hard. When you start the top 4, get through the opening couple of corners and go racing.
Jack William Miller so far is the kind of biggest gainer, as he was slated to start on the inside of row number 5. He ends up working his way currently into 4th. Again, in what is a 15-lap race here in the USF 2000 Series, the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship.
We'll most definitely keep our eye on Darren Keene coming from the tail of the field. Remember, he had the pace to be able to run P2 in qualifying. He now about 3.5 seconds behind Cabrera and Bogle. They'll have to do what they can to work their way deeper into the field. Other drivers falling. Yuvan Sundar Murthy, who started 14th, he ends up back in the 18th spot. Jack Crawford started 5th. He, of course, was right behind all that action, Greg. He falls all the way back into the 15th position.
The lead for Eves over McElroy, the top 2 cars, half a second, and another couple of seconds back to Manuel Suleiman, that is currently in 3rd. It's good news, but more bad news for Darren Keene. He just turned the fastest lap of the race. Problem is, he's in last after that disastrous start going into turn number 1.
Yeah, for me, it's horrible for Darren Keene. Again, the last race it was 2 months ago at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. He led almost the entire race, but only to spin in the final circuit, getting challenged aggressively for that position by Christian Rasmussen. He had to turn things around, looking for redemption, a new mindset coming here to Indianapolis. But this is going to be another opportunity for him to dig in and work his way forward. It's tough watching his teammate up front and potentially going to win his 3rd straight race. But for Darren Keene, he's got to dig in and see if he can't get himself potentially back to the top 10.
Keene had the fastest lap in the season opening race in St. Petersburg. Then in the 2nd race, he led the most laps. He started from pole position. But again, not having much luck here in race number 1 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He will have another opportunity tomorrow. Leaders coming down the front straightaway. Again, it remains Eves 1 and McElroy 2. And McElroy just set the fastest lap of the race at just over 1 minute and 25 seconds.
Watching the field stream by us here on the front straightaway. Here goes the first pass. In fact, it's going to be the number 2 of Darren Keene going by Cabrera, the driver who got into him into turn number 1. Again, all we do is anybody in the series just holds their collective breath when they go into turn number 1, Greg. We just all hope that they get through cleanly, because this is a development level. This is all about these drivers getting as much seat time as possible. We want them to be able to race. Darren Keene's going to get some passing opportunities here as well. Got a lot of experience coming back through the field, but he dealt with a lot of that last year as well. This was his year to run up front and stay out of trouble.
Yeah, Rob, this will be a situation for the fans. Watch the number 2 car, because you clearly have a fast car at the back of the field. There will be some entertaining passing, but unfortunately for Keene, with being just a 15-lap race, there is next to no shot to contend for a podium for Keene, with 12 more laps left to go.
He'd need a couple of yellow flags, no doubt. He needed a couple of full-course yellows to get any opportunity whatsoever. Drivers involved early as well. Zach Holden, who is the Indiana boy from nearby Greenfield, he fell back with Jack Crawford. They now run 14th and 15th, and they're about a second apart. So they're running together right now. Here's the camera shot of Darren Keene on the big screens, working his way up to now Nolan Siegel in the number 36 Newman Walks Racing entry.
But to put that in perspective, Rob, that'd be for 18th place right now.
True enough. And again, but every point's crucial, right? When you talk about that, maybe he'll be able to get the fast lap and steal it away from someone. Nonetheless, Darren Keene doing whatever he can to work forward. And, you know, in the lights race with 9 cars, we weren't expecting to see a full course yellow. We're talking about the first drivers here on this road to Indy. You never know what's going to happen here, whether an incident could happen somewhere mid-pack. A full course yellow always just around the corner. You never know, and for a guy like Keene, that's what he's going to be hoping for.
Going to look as they're going down Holman Boulevard on what would be the backside of this course. This 21-car field.
First rung of the road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires. And Greg and I talked a lot about the push-to-pass opportunities in the Indy Lights categories. Not something that we have here in USF 2000 or Indy Pro 2000. So these drivers have no aid in terms of a boost of horsepower. They got to get the job done themselves. These cars with about 180 horsepower jump up to 270 horsepower with the new engines for the Indy Pro 2000 car. It's the Tatis USF 17 chassis. I'm liking this battle up front, Greg. I think this fight between Braden Eves and Hunter McElroy could continue on here potentially, because these guys are going at it. Good speed from both these drivers. 125.6, 125.8. They're kind of going back and forth. Being told one driver potentially spinning. The number 12 of Suleiman. Trying to get an update for sure.
So it's in turn 12.
In turn 12, number 7. So not Suleiman. Pardon me, that's Christian Bogle going around. Dakota Dickerson also falling to the bottom of our timing and scoring here, Greg. Not sure what happened to Dakota. A last-minute entry for him with Legacy Autosport in their second car. Keene now up into 16th. 125.8, a full second quicker than than the driver in front of him, Ron Garrido. Almost a second quicker than Sundar Murthy as well.
By the way, the 77 of Dakota Dickerson is in pit lane. And again, in such a short race, that doesn't leave him much time in terms of being a difference maker in today's race.
Trying to pick up any damage to the car potentially coming by. Being told we have potential wing from the 77 of Dickerson in turn number 12. So we do have debris in turn 12. So Dickerson brings his car to pit lane. I would assume that would be it for him unless they are able to make adjustment or make repairs, get him back out. But as a one-off, probably no need. Reset and come back tomorrow morning.
To your point, Rob, you talked about the battle for first and second. McElroy has now shaved a couple of tenths of a second off the lead of Eves. It is now less than 3/10 of a second, then nearly 3 seconds back to Suleiman in the third spot, the final podium spot.
Spotter down on pit lane, telling me right front suspension for Dakota Dickerson. So that's it for Dakota in the number 67. They will not be able to repair that, and they will park him and refocus on tomorrow, as I said. Look at this move up here. Darren Keene up to 15th position already. Still 9 laps to go. Reese Gold started in the 19th spot. He's now up to 13th, but the two drivers really on the move. Jack Crawford in the 52 and Zach Holden in the 27. They're coming through the field together. Crawford now into the 10th spot, Holden into the into the 11th spot in the 27. So those drivers bouncing back pretty good, Greg, working their way back forward here. In fact, Crawford turned in the same lap time as the leader, 125.4. Great start for Braden Eves. He and Hunter McElroy out to a pretty nice little advantage, about 2.5 seconds from Manuel Suleiman for D-Force Racing. Cameron Shields, tremendous run here as well. Shields, the Australian, now in the 4th spot. He's been finding speed all weekend long. The 23 of Kaminsky in 5th. Jack Miller continues to run 6th. Barrichello 7th. So the Miller Venetary Motorsports team 6th and 7th. What a great run for them here in Indianapolis. They didn't quite have that pace at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, but if there's any place for that team, that Indiana-based team, Greg, to kind of find their speed, it's here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. Well done. You referenced Shields. He was starting on the inside of row number 7, so for him to be in 4th is a very impressive move in a short time in this race. Good for him because he didn't qualify as well in round 1 as he did round 2. So this is a kind of a big jump up for Cameron Shields for Newman Walks Racing, running in that P4 position, potentially looking at a podium. But right now, turning pretty much the same lap times as third place runner Manuel Suleiman. We'll get the halfway essentially next time by. It'll be 8 down, 7 to go, a 15-lapper for the drivers here in the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship. Darren Keene up another spot. He's able to get by Reese Gold, his teammate at Cape Motorsports. That put Darren Keene to 14th now. Darren trying to work his way back up into the top 10, as are Jack Crawford and Zach Holden. It's been an unbelievable debut for Jack Crawford, the young driver to Houston, Texas. He said been racing in the F4 NACAM series in Mexico. Did a bunch of racing through his lower teens, 12, 13, 14, 15 years of age, running in the legend cars. Darren Keene resets fast lap again, and that's going to be important, I think, Greg, because if he can get that last lap bonus point, it's not going to stop the bleeding of this issue, this particular race result, but he steals it away from anybody else, whether it be Braden Eves or Hunter McElroy, who I believe has gone to the lead.
He has.
McElroy taking over the lead in the 22.
In fact, he's a half-second clear last time by the stripe over Eves, and Suleiman has also picked up the pace a little bit. He's now less than 2 seconds back of the leader. Another car has been sent to pit lane. That is Rasmussen in the number 6 machine, Christian Rasmussen.
No front wing on that, so obviously some contact out on the racetrack. Rasmussen, who ran all over the rear wing of Darren Keene in that final race in St. Petersburg, and actually kind of forced the mistake that Keene did make to lose the race. He got caught up in the wreck as Keene spun and collected Rasmussen. So back-to-back rough races for Christian Rasmussen in the number 6 machine for Jay Howard and his program.
Rasmussen, a native of Denmark. Next time down the front straightaway, it is McElroy in front of Eves. He has stretched that lead by about 1/10 of a second. Now 0.67 seconds in front of his next closest competitor.
Tremendous run for Hunter McElroy, showing us what he has. This is the guy that stood out of a crowd of about 18 young drivers from around the world who earned tickets to that Mazda USF 2000 scholarship shootout, won $200,000 to be able to apply to a program here in USF 2000. And it's always great to see drivers capitalize on opportunities. And Hunter's a great young man out of the car as well, and now leading over Braden Eves. And I'll tell you, Darren Keene probably wouldn't wish anything poorly on his teammate Braden Eves, but this is going to help him, the fact that McElroy's been able to get by, because that's going to limit the amount of points hit. As they stand on the racetrack right now, with Eves in second, he would have about a 12-point lead over Hunter McElroy heading into round number 2, and Keene trying to work his way back up. He's got 33 points. That's what it would stand now. It's a tough run so far for these drivers that had an issue in turn 1. Again, the Miller Vinatieri Motorsports team having a great drive here. Both drivers, Barrichello and Miller. Eduardo Barrichello's gone by Miller, so he'll go to P6. Cameron Shields is reeling in Colin Kaminsky. Now, actually, no, it was Kaminsky that got by Shields, pardon me. Colin Kaminsky getting by Shields for the 4th spot, so drop Cameron Shields down to 5th. We'll look at lap times. Kaminsky a full second quicker last time by, but you had to believe that was the pass that probably dropped the time for Shields.
You referenced that pass, Rob. That is one of 149 we have had so far on the track. That is in less than 15 minutes of racing.
Always great competition here in this USF 2000 program. So many great drivers have come through the F2000 ranks, whether it was as part of this Cooper Tires USF 2000 championship or in the 20-something years that F2000 racing, 2-liter racing, has helped develop drivers. Most recently in the road to Indy, drivers coming through like Sage Karam and Zach Veach and Spencer Piggott, Matthew Brabham, just great drivers who have worked their way through the ranks. Great fight further back. That's 4 drivers going at it. I'm trying to figure out what group that is on the racetrack. That might have been, I'm thinking that could be Yuvan Sundaramurthy, Reese Gold, and Matt Round-Garrido. They're in the middle of a fantastic dice. Here come the leaders across start finish again. Pretty decent gap. Colin Kaminsky in the number 23 for Pabst Racing, the Slick Locks entry, pulling away from Cameron Shields, who runs in 5th, but he's got a big gap back to the 2 Miller Vinatieri cars of Barrichello and Miller. Anthony Famularo in the BN Racing number 28 now into 8th. Jack Crawford 9th. Both Crawford and Holden able to get by Bruno Tomaselli, so put them into 9th and 10th now.
A couple of races to kind of note on the track, if you will, Rob. The race to get on the podium, Suleiman's got a pretty good cushion as far as that is concerned. He is 3.7 seconds clear of Kaminsky. That's the fight for 3rd and 4th. But also, we've been tracking the progress of Darren Keene, who had, again, that off-track incident going into turn number 1. He has worked his way from 21st to 12th. So again, not a great day, but doing better than it could have been.
Yeah, you look at the points right now as they stand. Braden Eves, if they were finished right now, Braden Eves would be P1 with 89 points. Hunter McElray second with 77, then Manuel Suleiman with 62. Then you fall all the way down to Zach Holden, who would now be in the 4th spot with 50 points. Colin Kaminsky in 5th with 41. Then there's a bunch of drivers at around 39, 36. A lot of drivers in the 30s. Darren Keene now back up to 34th. But it's that big lead for Braden Eves right now that worries everybody. When you get on a run early and start putting down good laps, you know, somebody's got to stop the bleeding. And right now it's Hunter McElray. He leads by a half a second with just a couple of laps remaining. 3 to go, I believe.
Leaders completing their 12th lap of those 15. You referenced Holden. He has worked his way into the top 10 again. He is the native of Greenfield, getting a run here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway today.
Jack Crawford to the number 52 by Famularo, so he goes up into the 8th spot. Again, Crawford starting in 5th, but fell all the way back to 15th. He has clawed his way back up to 8th and is now about a second, just a little over a second behind Jack Miller, with the laps winding down. In fact, there'll be 2 to go when the drivers come back around to the start-finish line here. McElray, Eves, Suleiman, Kaminsky, and Shields the top 5. Then another 2.3 seconds back to Barrichello and Miller. Really good runs for both Eduardo Barrichello and Jack Miller, taking full advantage of that incident in turn number 1.
You call that a home track advantage for the team?
Maybe home city advantage. I'm not sure how much track time Jack Miller actually has here on this particular track, but most definitely big for the Indiana-based team. Do want to take an opportunity, we haven't done this yet, to say hello to everyone tuning in on the Road to Indy TV app. We know that a lot of people tune in to the live timing and, of course, the live feed for our races. And if you are watching on your mobile device through the Road to Indy TV app, we say hello. Those of you who have not downloaded the Road to Indy TV app, fantastic way to continue to follow the young stars of this program. Each and every weekend we're on track.
In the gap from 1st to 2nd, McElray to Eves is about a half a second. Then it is 3 seconds back to Suleiman in 3rd. And then another 3.5 seconds back from Suleiman to Kaminsky in 4th. So right now that podium, McElray in 1st, Eves in 2nd, Suleiman currently in 3rd. And the leaders will see the white flag the next time by.
I'll tell you, what a great run right now for Darren Keene. He has worked his way back up into the 10th position already, getting by Zach Holden. Holden was, I think we said, 4th in points right now, and in fact loses a bit as Keene gains a couple back. Every time you pass somebody, you take a couple away from them and add a couple more on your total. And Darren Keene, who got looped around in contact with Manuel Cabrera down in turn number 1, ends up back in the 10th position right now with a couple laps to go.
And as this race is winding down, there is more racing action in the very near future. The first of 2 Indy Pro 2000 races comes up at 3:40, and we may have a change at the top of the scoring pylon. It is Eves that has the lead as he sees the white flag, with McElray right behind, tailing into turn number 1.
Eves able to take the lead away there, but as the white flag flies, Hunter McElray going to try to take it down into turn number 1. Here's the look. McElray on the outside. Book it. He's through on the outside. McElray goes to P1 on the outside. Coming into the opening corner, can Braden Eves get back at it again? Eves was able to expertly take that spot back. What a great battle further back. 2 drivers together. They're going to go off into the gravel trap. 2 drivers off. That, I think, is going to be Jack Crawford and Jack Miller. Crawford and Miller together in turn number 1. They're going to fall to the tail of the field, and Darren Keene's going to find himself in 6th position. Hard to see that on the video we saw. It was quite a ways back. Here's a battle for the lead again, coming through the S's. Eves on the inside. Outside is McElroy. But McElroy has the inside for turn number 10. They're side by side still. Eves takes it back. What a tremendous race up front, and Eves able to take the position back. The 41 of Barrichello following as well. Here come the leaders up to turn number 11 and 12. Still Braden Eves with the lead, and this has allowed Suleiman to close back up from third. What a fantastic final lap. Braden Eves, the young American, going to lead him out of the final corner. It'll be the drag race to the line, and what a race it was. Great couple of final laps. Braden Eves, 3 straight wins to start the USF 2000 season with a brilliant final lap. He and Hunter McElroy, impressive, racing side by side. Manuel Suleiman ends up in third, Colin Kaminsky fourth, Cameron Shields in fifth. What a run. Darren Keene all the way back into sixth, and as I said, Jack Crawford and Jack Miller getting together in turn number 1 and 2, collecting each other, locking wheels and going off into the gravel trap on the outside of corner number 2. That moves Zach Holden to 7th, Anthony Famularo to 8th, Alex Bear in 9th, Bruno Tomaselli in 10th, and Manuel Cabrera in the number 90, improving his way up into the 11th position as well. Greg, that's a last lap for you.
No doubt about it. So the 3 names that were on the podium and the names that Rob will be calling out here in a matter of moments ended up not changing. But the order of them changed about 3 or 4 times on the last couple of laps alone. But again, it was Eves that led for most of the day, ends up winning at the end, and he ends up getting yet another victory in the early stages of the season. And as far as the points battle is concerned, that now jumps to 22 over McElroy.
Interesting, we were talking about 140 passes at one point, 148. They added up the total at the end. We went to 178 as they piled on those final couple of laps. Braden Eves able to get by Hunter McElroy on the penultimate lap. McElroy making a great move down into turn number 1 to go around the outside, but it appeared that they went 2 by 2 coming down at the end of Holman Boulevard and through 7, 8, and 9. Impressive run for Hunter McElroy, but it was Eves that was able to get that position coming through the final couple of corners.
Some of the changes in the field, so to speak, and you touched on this briefly. Let's revisit it now. Darren Keene goes from front row to back of the field to 6th. Literally, he made up 15 places in 15 laps.
And he's going to end up coming in, I think, 6th in points right now as well. So he, cut a lot of bleeding down after that. Was able to put some really good laps down. I'm not sure if he was fast lap of the race or not. He might have been. We'll look at that later. But for him to be able to come forward like that, absolutely amazing. Zach Holden coming back up, Manuel Cabrera. But it was that kind of last lap battle between Jack Miller and Jack Crawford that really paid dividends to the drivers who stayed out of trouble.
And Miller and Crawford fall back to 17 and 18 and didn't catch exactly how this happened, but Eduardo Barrichello fell back to 19 as well. So it was shaping up to be a great day for the Central Indiana-based team of Miller Vinatieri Motorsports. It looked a lot better until the final couple of laps. Their 2 cars go 17th and 19th respectively.
All in all, though, they showed good speed. I think that's what they got. That's the takeaway right now. They've shown the speed to run top 10, but Braden Eves, pretty pumped up. His 3rd straight win here in the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship. Solid drive for Braden Eves. The winner over Hunter McElroy and Manuel Suleiman, Colin Kaminsky, and Cameron Shields rounding out the top 5. And Greg, I'll head out to the podium, and otherwise, more racing still to come.
Braden Eves scores the victory in race 1 for USF 2000 here on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course. And Braden, we saw quite a victory celebration from you. How special is it to win here at IMS?
Oh my gosh, this is definitely the most special victory I've had. I swept at St. Pete, but that was the most insane race. I led early on. Hunter got by me, and then we had a really good battle at the end, and I just came on top by just a little bit. Wow. Not much more to say. Yeah, speaking of that battle with Hunter, you guys went back and forth on that final lap, an intense battle. What were you thinking? I was trying to think ahead, but you can't really think ahead. It has to be just like that instant. I knew I was looking for an over-under, but I saw him defend that, And as soon as I saw that, I just went around the outside and cleared him out the exit of the corner. So that was the point where I knew I had it. I just had to hold on for those last couple of corners, and I managed to do that. So I'm so happy.
Congratulations, Braden. And race fans, if you like that, there'll be more racing from the USF 2000 and the road to Indy tomorrow.
Katie, thank you very much. So again, your podium. Eves comes in first for a third consecutive race. And by the way, that second USF 2000 race tomorrow, he'll start from the pole for that one as well. Hunter McElray finishes in second. And Manuel Suleiman finishes in third, and literally that is the order in terms of the point standings in the USF 2000 Championship presented by Cooper Tires. But again, it's so early in the season. This is just the third race of the 15 that these young drivers will compete in during the course of the year. They'll run here at the Motor Speedway again tomorrow, out at Lucas Oil Raceway. Coming up at the end of the month, they'll go to Road America, Toronto, Mid-Ohio, Portland, and Laguna Seca by the time we get into the fall to wrap up this USF 2000 Championship for 2019. Let's run you through the field. Eves, McElray, Suleiman, Kaminsky, Shields, Keene, Holden, Famularo, Barron, Tomaselli rounding out the top 10. 11 through 21, Cabrera, Sundaramurthy, Round, Garrido, Gold, Siegel, Bogle, Miller, Crawford, Barrichello, Rasmussen, and Dickerson. That's the way this field of 21 finished today at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We've still got our podium presentation, and then we will quickly turn around and get ready for our final race of the day, that being the Indy Pro 2000 Series. That is slated to begin in less than 25 minutes. And following that, the conclusion of our racing day here at 16th in Georgetown, qualifying for tomorrow's IndyCar Grand Prix.
I'm Lindy Thaxton in the Chevy display with Michael Stauffer with Chevy Motorsports. Good looking stuff over here. What is it?
We appreciate that. We love coming here in the month of May. This is really our home away from home from Detroit. We have all of our new products on display here. Chevy HD Silverado, brand new this year, not even in dealers yet, so we're showcasing it here at IMS. We also have our new Blazer, brand new SUV in the market, hot market right now. It's an edgy SUV, sporty. You were looking at it earlier, and you were liking it a lot, weren't you?
Yeah, I rolled up here and I'm like, wait, is that a Blazer? Are you kidding me? And you can't just look at the outside. You're welcome to look at the inside, right?
That's what we want. We want people getting in our products, touch, feeling, asking questions. We've got product specialists on site, answer any questions you may have, but absolutely want people to experience our cars.
And you also want people to just experience this display. So you have simulators?
We do. We have simulators that the kids and adults. Adults like them too, but you can race here at IMS on the actual Grand Prix course or the Indy 500 course.
Then there's also another section right over here where people can sign up. What do you get?
They do. So we're doing a Matchbox car this weekend, a Hot Wheels Camaro, and then for Indy 500 weekend we will do a Heritage T-shirt. So people love taking that away from the
Yeah, because you're not just doing this weekend. You're going to be here throughout the month, and I know a lot of fans here today will as well. What will they see?
So Indy 500 weekend is obviously massive crowds, and we love talking to them. We'll have our large driver appearance stage. We'll have all of our teams that come in for the month of May on display, answering questions, Q&A, and signing autographs.
Michael, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Firestone Legends Day returns on Indy 500 weekend. Featuring the legendary Zach Brown Band at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Saturday, May 25th. Tickets start at $35 and prices increase on March 1st. Zach Brown Band, live in concert. Get your tickets at IMS.com. This is Legends Day. This is May.
It's on for the lead. James Hinchcliffe goes. Joseph Newgarden wins. Dominant performance, Rossi. We witnessed something that hasn't been done in more than half a century. Scott Dixon is
It's not the fastest lap. It's the fastest 200 laps. In both racing and investing, bold and steady wins. Balance risk with
well, ladies and gentlemen, we are
presenting
down here in
sponsor
Victory
of the
Lane at the Indianapolis
500.
Motor Speedway once again for the second of 6 races that we'll have here for the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires. This particular race, a fantastic finish in the USF 2000 Grand Prix of Indianapolis, and I'm proud to be able to bring the top drivers out. Finishing in third place, Manuel Suleiman from D-Force Racing coming home in the third spot. Manuel, congratulations. To bring his trophy up, Mr. Dan Anderson from Anderson Promotions will present Manuel with his third place trophy. Manuel Suleiman, a rookie driver here in this USF 2000 series, did a tremendous job getting out of that opening lap chaos to slot in to the second position. Battle throughout this entire 15-lapper, though, kept going. We had passes near the very end of the race. This driver ends up taking second position, but it's a great drive for Pabst Racing P2 today, Hunter McElray. Hunter McElray, the $200,000 scholarship winner from last year, running with Pabst Racing. And to bring him his second place trophy from Cooper Tires, Mr. Chris Pantani. Good run for Hunter in this championship, definitely heating up. He is in second spot of the championship. Lots more races before we get to the finale at Laguna Seca, but always good to get on the podium here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. To start this season off, though, this driver definitely on a tear. Won both races at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg and makes it 3 for 3 here in the opening round at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. My winner in USF 2000 from Cape Motorsports, Braden Eves. Braden, you stay down here with me and have a quick chat. What a great way to start the season. Expectations are always different. You're never sure what it's going to be when you get started, but then you win a couple of races, you come to Indianapolis. First off, give me your thoughts on winning your third race in a row.
I'm speechless. My voice is a little bit gone from yelling after I got out of the car, but coming in here, I was confident. I've driven here before, was fast straight out the gate. Then to get the 2 qualifying poles, amazing. That race was super intense. Me and Hunter was so close in times the entire time. I led early, then he led. My car was getting better and better, and I knew that. So I just had to be there for the move at the end, and I was there, and we had a crazy battle those last 2 laps, and I landed on top. So I couldn't be happier.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Get him on top of the box here, folks. Braden Eves with the win.